What is going on, guys? This is Miasin, and today I'm actually going to do a deck profile on a deck that I truly believe is top tier, sleeper, best deck, but nobody really knows about it except the really high level players who obviously did their research and they figured out that this deck actually counters the meta. Not necessarily on game 1, but post game 1, this deck is so strong against so many decks, and that is because of the versatility of Beatrice, Lady of the Eternal. I already made a video on how this card destroys everyone, and if you haven't watched it already, the link will be in the description box below. But as you can currently see, my side deck is heavily teched. I mean, I can send Orchestrated Crescendo, which can search for a Dark Machine. I'll have Justice Cycle Reader, just happens to be a Dark Machine. I can Foolish for Necroworld Banshee and activate Zombie World directly to my field, or I can send Nail Shadow Ariel and banish up to 3 cards in both players' graveyards, which is absolute insanity. And yeah, this deck is really good. So before we start, friendly reminder to like and subscribe. Seriously motivates me so much to keep making videos like these. If I see that this video gets 1,000 likes, I'm going to keep making even more and more and more competitive videos, this time featuring side decks. So not just random ideas and stuff like that I usually do, but I'm actually going to make these videos as competitive and as ready to play from the box kind of deck list. So yeah, if you're interested, just make sure you smash the thumbs up and subscribe button, and now let's get right into the explanation of my ratios and stuff. So I'm playing 1-2-2 alongside 2 Nyan Nyan. This is actually a pretty popular ratio for the monsters, as well as 3 of every single other virtual world. So 3 Lily, 3 Lao Lao, 3 Lulu, and 3 Gigi. Now the reason why I'm going with 2 Nyan Nyan and then 1-2-2 is to have a bit more options, because the thing is, it's already easy to access your virtual world monsters. So I figured out it's a level 6, so I can normal summon it, reveal literally anything, and that's already Beatrice. And I can do it in like 3 summons. So if I'm scared of Nibiru, which I technically shouldn't be, I can easily play around it by not really summoning too much. However, if I do have the combo that makes Crystal Wing on summon number 5 and then makes Dragoon after that, well, I'm doing that combo instead. Again, if you guys are interested in an updated combo video for virtual world, also let me know, because I can easily put up this video. So yeah, these cards really nice. 2-2 also has an effect that allows you to kind of play despite you getting Lanciad, which is interesting. And Nyan Nyan, I mean, it's cool, you can use it multiple times anyways. The deck has a great grind game because of how you can easily recur back your resources with Chuche, always get them back in the deck. And with King Long, obviously you're always searching. One really cool thing, again, with this deck is that drawing redundant cards like Triple Desires, ironically, isn't even that bad, because it's just serving as the discard outlet for your cards like King Long and Xuanhu anyways. So to me, I wouldn't even be pissed if I drew Triple Desires. Granted, I drew, you know, somewhat of a respectable hand, and obviously if you drew Triple Desires, you get Ash and the rest of your hand is garbage. What can you do about it? You know, it's variance. You can't control it. It happens, it can exist, but it's just... come on, right? Anyways, now for the hand trap lineup. I'm playing 3 Ash alongside 2 Droll and 3 Gamma with the driver. Again, just a friendly reminder that it's not a big deal just drawing the driver, because it can just easily be discarded, and then you can keep the Gamma, for example, or also discard the Gamma if you know that it's not going to be really good in this matchup. Also pretty easily citable out. If you resolve it on your first turn, you can't really do much because I'm not really playing any generic level 8 synchros. You could technically play Omega, but the extra deck kind of is tight in a way. I really wanted to have as many options as I possibly can, and I'm going to explain to you every single card in my extra deck really soon, though, don't worry. And yeah, triple Kowloon, double Tactic Talents, Called by the Grave. I really don't want to lose to hand traps because unfortunately this is a hand trap heavy format. The reason for that is because Drytron exists and you can't really use board breaking cards right now. Dark Ruler, Forbidden Drop, all that just does nothing because you still have to handle Herald of Orange Light, stuff like that, and then their follow-up is deadly, you're just gonna die. So you can't really do that efficiently, and yeah, you're just trying to hand trap your opponent as much as you possibly can, and having the counters to your opponent's hand trap, making them either lose consistency or you digging your deck for ways to extend despite you getting hand trapped is definitely the way to go. So 2 copies of Tactic Talents I think is correct, with the Called by the Grave. Of course, Called by the Grave is just really good right now. Definitely should be playing the card. It's not just an anti-hand trap card. For example, if you're playing against Sky Striker and they're using the effect of Ray to tag out, you can use the Called by the Grave on the Ray, or even cooler than that, or just, I guess, a more nicher. If they already had a Kagari on the graveyard and then they summon another Kagari, you can go Called by the Grave to banish that Kagari in the grave, and it'll basically nullify the effect of the Kagari on the field, which is a play that happens every now and then. Not necessarily super often, but it does come up. and obviously emergency teleport, so you can again keep extending. I want to say for the most part, the virtual world deck list is so incredibly streamlined, I want to say, that there's practically nothing that you can do to kind of innovate on it. The majority of the spice comes in the side deck, and I want to say maybe the extra deck a little bit, but even then, honestly, that's barely the case. I mean, what's really going to change? Instead of people playing Muddy Mudragon, they're going to play like Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss with just, I don't know, another way to get there. But yeah, obviously 3 Desires and then 3 Kinglong, 2 Chuche and 1 Zwanhu. If you want to play 3 Chuche, you are very much welcome to do so, but it changes nothing at the end of the day. Anyways, for the extra deck, Dragoon of Red Eyes, you're not playing this with Red Eyes Fusion, Dark Magician, and the bricks. It just wouldn't really make any sense. So the way you're summoning this Dragoon is with Muddy Mudragon using the Ultimayat Zolkin. And this card just doesn't really serve a purpose once you summon the Crystal Wing, and it's practically just a 2-card combo that requires you 2 discards. So it's a 2/4 card combo. It requires you 2 specific cards, but the thing is, this is why Desires is so good, is because once you're done doing the first part of the combo, you can start using Desires just to fill up your hand. Even if you draw garbage cards, it's not the end of the world, so I really like this a lot. And then for yeah, I mean, the Dragoon, unfortunately, since it is summoned off of using effect monsters, it won't have the really cool effect to destroy multiple cards your opponent controls, well, monsters, and then burn for damage, but it still can't be destroyed by card effect, it still can't be targeted by card effects, and it still has that insane ability to negate, so that's really nice. However, the one issue is that it does require you to discard a card, and it loses to Zeus the same way any other negate would have lost to Zeus anyways. So, if you feel like Dragoon is a good floodgate on its own, again, make sure you play the Dragoon. If you feel like Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss makes more sense, you are also free to play Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss. And again, another reason why I'm not playing any Link monsters is because I genuinely can't. Because of the virtual world restrictions of I can only summon level 3/rank 3 or higher monsters, I believe, for the rest of the turn. Which is kind of funny, but yeah. And yeah, not being able to Link summon is actually a good thing because it makes me dodge Phantasme. So my opponent plays even more bricks in his deck now, which is kind of cool. Anyways, so I already kind of explained Ultimate Sulkin without even trying. Shen Shen, this card is insane just as a floodgate. You can go Shen Shen, Chuche, Pass, and the majority of the decks would kind of just struggle against you going second. I mean, I'm pretty sure Sky Striker already panics against Shen Shen. Ironically, Shen Shen Pass is better than VFD Pass against the deck, obviously. I mean, no Widow Anchor, Widow Anchor, sure, that's one way to do it, Afterburner as well, but you're gonna lose so many resources trying to even get there in the first place that it usually just does a good job on its own, so I really like the card. And then Vermilion Dragon Mech was my other level 9 synchro of choice. There's that and like Chao Fang, but Vermilion kinda has that spot removal and the ability to recycle back a tuner from the banished once it dies, and I can destroy it myself with the Chuche, so I can keep extending by recycling back Lao Lao, for example, and then I can keep playing from there. Then I am playing Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, which is not synchro summonable. You cheat summon it by using the effect of Ultimayat Sulkin, so when you set a spell or trap card, you are able to summon a level 7 or 8 Dragon Synchro monster from your extra deck. So that's why Crystal Wing was probably the better one, because you summoned on a summon number 5, since Sulkin is summon number 4, and then Nibiru is just no longer a thing, because you can safely make Dragoon after that. Alright, Juju, yeah, that's the name of the card. It's a good card. You can kind of stall games out since it can't be destroyed by battle or by card effect, while you have 2 or more monsters in your graveyard with the same original type and attribute, and that has a really neat little effect. You can also recycle it back with Lao Lao, but then it has no effect. Same thing with Zwanhu, so it really is just when you kind of synchro summon it originally, but you can recycle it back with, again, the on-field effect of Chuche to recycle back 2 banished cards. How do you get this card in the banished? Easy, you just banish it off of Shen Shen, and that's pretty much it. It really is that simple. Stardust Charge Warrior. Now, this card's kind of interesting. You draw 1 card on Synchro Summon, but it actually has another effect that a lot of people forget. It's kind of like an Ashura Priest, or Azura or Ashura, whatever. A Conductor Tyranno that doesn't have the Book of Eclipse effect, and you lose 1,000 life points, so it can attack all special summon monsters your opponent controls once each, which is kind of interesting against Prank Kids, because of their monsters, except for, I think, Dropsies, have low enough defense that you should be able to jump over all of them once they fuse with the Battle Butler, if you can find a way, of course, to beat the Battle Butler. For example, with Chuche, for example. So yeah, this deck does have ways to kind of beat the Prank Kids board going second, which is cool. And then Muddy Muddragon, of course, for the combo. That's it for the Synchro monsters and the one-of Fusion monster. If you don't have the money for Dragoon of Red Eyes, you can play Invoked Caliga. But it's just, I mean, do you really need to do that? You can, because Muddy Muddragon can substitute itself as an Alistair the Invoker, and then you're using a Dark monster, which is Ultima Yatzolkin. I don't know if there are a lot of other options out there. I don't think it would make too much sense anyways, but yeah. Alright, Zeus with Gaia Dragon, which is a big version of Downward Magician. Ptolemy 7, which is nice. It can recycle back any monster from your graveyard to your hand or bounce back a monster on the field. And then after that, you can make Gaia Dragon, and then Zeus with a lot of materials. The Fan this time has a really insane effect if it actually comes up. And I guess it floats into multiple virtual world monsters when I think it is destroyed by your opponent. But you can crash this with battle, so it's not too bad. You can't just destroy it with your own Chuchi and then summon 2 virtual world monsters from your deck. That simply wouldn't work. Obviously, the MVP of the deck, outside maybe Shen, it would be Beatrice, because, as you can clearly see, half of my side deck, almost, are cards that work very, very well with Beatrice, and the funny part is, Ally of Justice Cycle Reader should be in your side deck anyways, so it's not even like you could say, oh, it's a lot of commitment, and if you do draw that Crescendo, well, I like calling cards by their old names. If you do draw that Crescendo, it's actually not a bad thing, because it'll just be the discard outlet for your King Long, and then instead of making Beatrice, you could actually just go for your regular combo with like Crystal Wing and stuff. And by the way, in case you're wondering, well, you can't summon anything the turn you use Crescendo, so it doesn't work. You're banishing the card during your opponent's turn. It's a trap card, and trap card, even the effects in the grave, are still quick effects unless it actually notes in the card text that you can only use it on your own turn. For example, I think the Lunalight trap card, the Serenade, and I think Chuchi and Zuanahu can only be used on your own turn, but that's pretty much it. Yeah, during your main phase. Whatever, it's not the end of the world, like I said. And finally, my 2 rank 3s of choice, Phantom Knight Breaksword and Fortune Tune. Fortune Tune applies a lot of psychological pressure on your opponent, and you might be thinking, what the heck? Why psychological pressure? It's because when you have 2 level 3 monsters on the field, people immediately get scared of you being able to summon Fortune Tune, since it cannot be destroyed, I think by card effect or something like that. You can just easily detach material, and then you can make a Zeus, and immediately after that, use detach 2 materials to send everything on the field to the graveyard. So your opponent sometimes might have to be forced to use his trap cards to destroy one of the 2 level 3s just so you can't get to Fortune Tune, because if you can, you're going to be able to send all of your opponent's cards to the grave, and that's a blowout. So Fortune Tune, really, really powerful and should be in your extra deck, even though you won't necessarily always summon it. Breaksword, I want to say, yeah, I mean, it's a good one as well. You can destroy your own cards, which can ironically unbreak you in a way. By destroying your own King Long, it goes to the grave and then you can surge, so that's kind of cool. But anyways, now for my side deck, I already explained kind of everything indirectly, but I'm still going to keep explaining some of the cards. So Ally of Justice Cycle Reader is here for the Drytron deck. I guess you can kind of argue that it's usable against Eldritch, I just wouldn't really recommend it. I feel like Nael Shaddoll Ariel is just already good. You can banish all their Conquistador, Hakuero, Eldritch the Golden Lord, and I was gonna say Scarlet, but not really because it is a quick effect. Again, trap cards, hey, I told you. And that's pretty much it. I mean, you're covering so much ground with these cards. Necro Banshee into Zombie World instantly beats Dragon Link, Salamangrate, Adignister. Just a lot of decks. Tri-Brigade. If you go first with Virtual World, it takes a lot for your opponent to beat you. It really does. So you're always in such a favorable position, I feel like, that your opponent is really going to have a tough time. Your opponent can have evenly, and it just doesn't do enough, man. You can wait until he summons a monster and then activate the Zombie World, and then, you know, Merry Christmas, can't really do anything, can't use your effects because every monster on the field and graveyard becomes zombie. Tri-Brigades, what do they really read? You have to banish Beast Warrior or Winged Beast from your grave. Guess what? That's never gonna happen. So yeah, pretty good cards. Alright, now for the non-Beatrice cards, finally. Harpy's Feather Duster, so you kind of have a chance for back row decks going second. Triple copies of Cosmic Cyclone. Now, this card is a mid-range card. You don't necessarily want to play it only for the back row decks, but also for some semi-combo decks like Shaddoll Invoked. You can use this on the Shaddoll Schism, so your opponent doesn't get to Winda, and you can keep playing very, very well. Twin Twister technically is another option, but the discard is rather expensive, and you do want to banish your opponent's card. The one issue is that you start losing to Artifact Lancia even more, because this banishes, and the deck really needs to banish. In Desires, every single Virtual World, Spell or Trap, King Long, Chuche, and Zuanahu. So yeah, Desires, Artifact Lancia definitely is a problem for this deck. and we only have one Call by the Grave, so it's like, yeah, but you know, it's a risk that you're gonna have to take, unfortunately. And then obviously I'm playing the One Red reboot, just so back row decks become even easier, because you can easily go into Zeus to make them lose every single trap card, and then Anti-Spell, Fragrance, and Imperial Order. Now the one thing about these cards that I'm going to say is that even going second against Sky Striker, these cards are still good, because of their follow-up, like the Search Engage and stuff like that. Those cards are usually normal spell card, outside, except if they have like Cosmic Cyclone and Twin. They're going to have to set their cards and play very slowly. So even if you have like a half of a board going second against them, it's not the end of the world. And to be fair, Widow Anchor does nothing against these cards, because they resolve completely simultaneously when you're using the effect in the hand. It's not like, oh, in a separate chain link on the field effect in order to search, for example, from Lulu. No. All of that happens from the hand effect. So yeah, this deck would lose to Mind Drain, but it doesn't lose to Scale Drain. So ironically, this deck can play Scale Drain, actually. Yeah, it can, which is pretty funny. But yeah, Anti-Spell Fragrance, really fantastic card. Just great going first. This format overall makes you dodge Dark Ruler, not Forbidden Drop, but Dark Ruler, and it's Lightning Storm, Engine cards, Tenki, Meteornus, Drytron, the Ritual Spell, everything, man, you name it. And Imperial Order is a no-brainer. So, that's pretty much it for this beautiful Virtual World deck profile. I really hope you guys were able to enjoy and learn a thing or two, most importantly. And if you did, make sure you smash the thumbs up and subscribe button, and I will see you next time. Peace.